When I, the soul, position myself in the world of silence before Baba, who is the ocean of peace, and Baba says that when you stabilize in this elevated stage for even a second, the impact of that is that even while doing everything throughout the day, you will especially experience the power of silence in yourself. And what is particularly interesting is Baba says you stabilize yourself in this elevated stage of being beyond sound, even for a second, then you will experience the power of silence in yourself all through the day while doing everything. So this was very beautiful because this is the easiest method that can be to experience silence while doing everything throughout the day. And Baba says, even for 1 second, if you stabilize yourself in that stage of being beyond sound. And do you know that 1 second is not that short? 1 second is quite long. So, to stabilize yourself in that stage of being beyond sound for 1 full second at least, you need some 5-10 minutes of, full detachment of awareness from this world and taking your awareness to the soul world and sitting before Baba. But even if it takes 10 minutes or something, it's worth practicing. And Baba says you do this practice once, at least once, even if you do it, then all day you will feel the silence in your heart while doing everything. And I'll share one experience. So the other day my cell phone was having a problem, and then it will suddenly many things were happening in the phone and I didn't know what to do. And then I asked somebody what should be done in such a case. Should I show it to the service center or something? And then said, just try one thing, try restarting it. Just restart the phone. And I said, no, but it's showing too much trouble. What will restarting do? But then I restarted the phone and it was fine. Yes, so why am I sharing this experience? Because, some things just need restarting. So many things, and there is a very good saying in the world that most things would get corrected, most things in the world would get corrected if you just unplugged and replugged. And have you seen with most electronics this works? Most electrical equipments also this works. And Baba says similarly for we souls also this works. And Baba says just take 1 second to unplug. Unplug fully from this body, from the bodily relations, from this physical world, and just go to that world of light, world of silence. And there is the ocean of peace, Baba. And just stabilize yourself in your seed form, in that form which is beyond this stage, beyond this field of action. And Baba says when you do that, then your heart soaks in the silence of this world of silence. And then when you are working through the day, doing everything, that silence stays with you. And Baba says that you will experience the power of silence. What is the power of silence? I think the best power of silence is staying anchored within and making good decisions. So, your discernment and decision making is very good. So, when you are silent within, then one is you experience the sweetness of silence while you do everything. Just like, people, so the other day there was somebody who was saying, I have a headache. And then, they're doing everything. But what is their experience? They are experiencing that headache while doing everything. Yes, so there is an inner experience that is constantly experienced while we do everything in the world. And Baba says, once you maintain this practice, then whatever you do, your heart will experience the sweetness of silence, and in your actions you will see the power of silence. And the power of silence is all your decisions, all your discernment is accurate. So Baba says, just practice this even for a second. And Baba says this stage is called the Karmatit stage, the full stage of being equal to the Father. This is the master seed stage, the stage of a master almighty. And Baba says this stage of being beyond sound in the world of silence is a very powerful stage. By having this stage, you will experience success in every task. So unplug and then come here and do everything. So this is a lovely practice that Baba is teaching us. And then today in the Murli, Baba says that we are, so Baba says Baba is the truth and Baba is the conscient being. And Baba says that, Baba says, He is the ocean of knowledge, the seed of the human tree, the truth and the living being. A soul is said to be the truth and a living being. A body cannot be called the truth and a living being. Even though a body in a womb is non-living, for 5 months it still continues to grow. Everything grows, but it is the soul of a human being that is great. So we need to understand this difference between living and non-living. And why do we need to understand this difference is because Baba has told us one law, and the law is the living will take care of the non-living. Okay, so the living are responsible for the non-living. But the thing is, because there is this saying, Chadti kala tere bahane sarv ka bhala. So you are the living being, you are the great human being, and you have to take responsibility for all that is non-living. But today what is happening is, the living beings are taking, are outsourcing their responsibilities to the non-living. Yes, and Baba says that today, man looks at nature to heal him. But should nature heal man, or man should take care of nature? So Baba says, what is living and non-living? So there is a very good distinction that Baba is making today, that not that everything that grows is living. So, the plants grow, the mountains grow, but are they living because they are growing? No, they are non-living. And Baba says that living means you have a man and buddhi, you have a mind and intellect. Living means you are a soul. A soul has 3 faculties: man, buddhi and sanskar. Right? So, is the tree capable of conscious thinking? No. Can you teach the tree to grow despite it not raining? So, just try teaching the tree. Even if it doesn't rain, don't stop growing. Grow. Can it do that? No. If it doesn't have water, it cannot grow. So, this conscious thinking, this power of choice, power of decision making, all of these things are an aspect, or for that matter, thinking also. So, thinking, conscious thinking, choice, discernment, decision making, these are not aspects of the non-living. And Baba says, I am a living being. So I come and I play my part, and I also ignite, that which is dead within you. And have you seen that Baba in the Murli says that I give you pran. So, I fill you with that life force which was starting to die within you. So, we souls had also lost our consciousness. So, we had forgotten that we are souls and we are capable of thinking, discerning, deciding, creating. So, you see, reaction is a quality of the non-living, but creation is a quality of the living. Yes. So, there are studies in the world which today says that when even plants react, so they react to their environments, but can you teach the plant to not react and respond the way they like? That is not possible. So, reaction is an aspect of the non-living, but creation is an aspect of the living. And Baba says, just because something grows doesn't mean it is living. When we say Chaitanya, Chaitanya is one quality of God. So, we say Sat, Chit, Anand. So, Chaitanya is a quality of God. And what is Chaitanya? This conscious thinking, conscious decision making. Yes, and Baba says that is an aspect of you souls. That's not an aspect of nature. And even animals, do they do conscious thinking? Do they? So, that animals, they can react. So, if there is a strong light coming, the dog will run away. But does the dog think that, I'm living on the street, let me make a home for myself? And then does the dog think, okay, 1 BHK is not good enough, let me make a 2 BHK? Or, let me have a variety for lunch. I don't like this, let me have that. So, all those things are not. So, here when we say living and non-living, so we must understand that Chaitanya is a very big word. And Chaitanya is a quality of God. And Baba says that same Chaitanyata applies to you souls. It doesn't apply to the dog or the cat or the plant or the tree or the mountain. It doesn't apply to that, because all those organisms, all those, everyone is at the receiving end, and you are the one that has to serve them through your elevated stage. And there is this, this thing that people also in the science realm, they say there is left brain and right brain. And they say that animals have left brain, and left brain is the logical brain, but the right brain, which is the creative brain, that's not there. Because creation, development, learning, reforming, these are not aspects of animals or plants. They are all aspects of the human being. And Baba says that I am true and I am a living being, and you are also a living being. You, the souls, are the living being. And Baba says that in the womb, the body keeps growing, so I don't exactly know, but whatever I know, maybe, I could be wrong about this, but I think, there is the development of the heart also at around 2.5 months in the womb. So that whole structure keeps growing and developing. But then there is this, the soul enters at around 3.5 or 4 months, and that process is called quickening. So there is movement in the body, and the soul starts taking decisions of where the hand moves and where the leg moves in the body. And Baba says that is when you say that the soul starts living in the body and the body becomes living. But otherwise the body is just a piece of matter which is growing, and even the organs are growing, but that doesn't mean that the body is living. So when the soul enters, then you say it's a living being. And there is a scientist called Nikola Tesla, and he did a lot of research on this consciousness. And when we talk about the 5 elements of nature, then usually there is this thing we call sky, Akash. Yes, so Jal, Vayu, Agni, Prithvi, Akash. But this sky is this Akash is translated as sky many times. But in fact, when we talk about the 5 elements of nature, one element is ether, and the ether element is responsible for absorbing vibrations and radiating vibrations. So even the non-living are all connected by vibrations. So if a plant stays in an environment, they absorb the vibrations of that environment and they radiate those vibrations to the environment. If there is water, water is flowing, or you've kept a tub, a can of water in the room, then whatever is your vibration, the water is absorbing that vibration, and when you drink that water, you are getting those same vibrations. And all this is the ether element. The ether element is responsible for absorbing vibrations, radiating vibrations. So we are all connected by vibrations. But that vibrational connection is because of the ether element. And if you see that Baba, because Baba teaches us everything very simply. So Baba has given us this rule that you cook in Baba's remembrance, and then you offer bhog to Baba, and then you eat the same food. So do you understand that you are infusing that food with powerful remembrance of Baba, and when you take that same food, that food is helping you raise your vibrational frequency. So this is a very good example of how you use the ether element. And but what Baba says is, you see, that creation of a higher vibration is possible by the living, by understanding knowledge. So you cannot teach a plant to not die in a negative environment. Do you know that in Amazon, when they want to they don't want a plant, they don't want a tree, they don't cut it, they just curse it and it dies. So they take a circle, make a circle, and they start cursing the tree, and the tree dies. So Baba says that you see that the tree is capable of dying because of the vibration, but you cannot teach the tree to give a opposite vibration to the human. That responsibility has to be taken by the living. And you, the souls, are living, and I, the soul, I, the Supreme Soul, am living, and I am teaching you how to create a different vibration by being knowledgeful, peaceful, pure, powerful. So you learn this, and then you start coloring everything around you, because everything has ether element. So they can absorb your vibration, whether it is animals, it is plants, it is everything. So they will start responding to the positive vibrations that you send. And today Baba also gives a very funny example. He says that the Prime Minister of England when he went to church, he took his cat with him. Yes, and Baba says that look how much respect the cat was given. You cannot even go there without a permit, and yet the cat received a permit. Yes, and Baba says many people say that even dogs remember God. They bark, don't they? So these are all, and I will share one personal experience. So there was this person who worked for animals and stuff, and he started saying, how dare you say that human beings are better than animals? So I said, no, they are not better, but they have to take the responsibility to be better. So he said, no, we are all on the equal footing, and they are like us. So I said, no, they are equally valuable. I'm not talking about who is more valuable than who. But can you bring God to teach the dogs? No. So God will teach the humans, and the humans will create a better world for the dogs and cats. But these days, what is happening? Humans are taking the support of dogs and cats and pets and flora and fauna to make them feel better. So Baba says, look at what condition humans have come to, and what is the difference between a human and an animal. So when the human forgets, that he is the one who is responsible, then they start looking at nature to make them feel better. But Baba says that's just an example of the low consciousness of the soul. So when the soul is in low consciousness, then these things start happening. But Baba says once you elevate your consciousness, you understand that all the nature, all the elements of nature, whether it is dogs, cats, plants, everyone has to benefit from me, not that I have to take love and care from them. And you know, sometimes you feel that the plant is making you feel better or the dog is making you feel better, but in that case, these days the phone, which is lifeless, is also making you feel better. So something that doesn't even have life, something that breaks when you just throw it, that also has started making the human feel better. And it's not a praise of the phone, or it's not about the greatness of the dog or the cat, it's about the lowliness of the human that this is happening. So you know, when and I remember, you know, there was this one sister, and she did not know how to, you know, how to sew, and her button was lost. So you know, there she that button fell off from the jacket. So another sister, she did just sewed it, and and then you know what she said is, "You are like a magician. You can do everything." So I said, "No, no, that's just sewing of a button. It's nothing magical." So you see that somebody who doesn't know anything feels like, you know, sewing a button is magic. So Baba says that, you know, that's just because you don't know anything. It's not like the other person is very learned. So sewing a button is very ordinary. But when you don't know that much also, you feel, you know, this is a very great thing to do. Similarly, these days, you know, even when the soul is not capable of any power, any virtue, at this time you feel, you know, whatever the animal is capable of, or whatever the phone is capable of, is very, very precious. But Baba, so do you understand why you like the phone? Because it gives you constant entertainment, and in the soul there is no constancy. And you know, yesterday we had this yoga, and 6:30 p.m. yoga, and in that evening yoga, I was just thinking, you know, that elements of nature like the sun, the stars, the moon, there is something beautiful about them, which is constancy. So, you know, they are just constant. What does the sun do? What's the most beautiful quality of the sun? It just stays in its place and keeps radiating the light. So, the most important virtue of the sun is being constant in its place. And would you like the sun who just keeps blinking? So, the sun wouldn't be the sun if it blinked. Similarly, you know, the soul, the soul am peaceful, loveful, pure, powerful, blissful. But the only thing that's lacking in me is I'm not constantly peaceful. I'm not constantly loveful. And what is it about Baba that makes him Baba? It's this constant stage. You know, Baba is ever peaceful, ever pure, ever loveful. And Baba says that you see that the sun can only give light and heat. But what can you give? You are a knowledgeful, powerful, peaceful, loveful, blissful soul. And you can give that, do you understand? And that's something that can change the world from hell to heaven. But the only thing that we need to learn from Baba is how to be that constantly. And when we stay in remembrance of that one who is ever pure, ever knowledgeful, ever blissful, then we kind of, you know, soak in his constancy and that state of being ever. And that is what transforms us. And Baba says, similarly, with the dog or the cat, they are constantly sweet on the face. So you like that. But Baba says, you see, they can't do anything, but for that one quality you like them, but you have several qualities, but you've lost all of them. And that's why you start appreciating. So it's a very important thing to appreciate nature, but it's also important that you understand that you have the responsibility to make this nature sato pradhan. It's not the nature's responsibility to make you feel better. So don't lose your position and appreciate nature. Be in your position and appreciate nature. So these are two very different things. Sometimes when you start appreciating the other, you are losing your position and appreciating the other, and you are trying to manipulate the other into, or you are trying to deceive yourself in that act of appreciation, that the other has to take responsibility of me. But Baba says, no, appreciation is a quality of the powerful. It's not that I have to use nature, exploit nature, so I appreciate nature. Yes, so there is an importance of nature, but Baba says, you are the one who has to serve it. You are not the one who has to keep begging to nature to make you feel better. So that's something that Baba is pointing out today. And there are many things in the Murli today. The Murli is full of small important points. But another thing that I would like to talk about is, today Baba says there are two main kinds of violence. And Baba also talks about fear today. And Baba says, in Satyug there will be no fear. And have you seen that violence makes you feel afraid? Yes, so if you are subject to the violence of lust or to the violence of anger, it starts making you feel afraid. Yes, and in Satyug we are not afraid, and that's because there is no lust and anger in Satyug. And I have seen that, many a times this attempt to make the other person feel afraid is done in many ways, and all of that is violence. So have you ever felt that Baba wants you to feel afraid of him? Baba never wants you to feel afraid. But even parents want the children to feel afraid of them, because that's anger. The anger and the body consciousness, it's something that makes you want the other person to feel afraid. And there is this lust and anger make you desire that somebody should feel afraid of you. And if somebody is not afraid of you, you feel very insecure. So, you feel like you don't have authority. Yes, so that's not what Baba teaches us. And even when Baba talks about Dharamraj Puri, he says that, if you do the best, you will never have to face Dharamraj. Baba never says you have to face Dharamraj. Baba says, if you belong to me completely, you will never face Dharamraj. Yes, so Baba says that, in Satyug there is no fear because there is no violence. And there are two types of violence. One is lust, another is anger. And there are many forms of anger. There are many forms of violence. And whenever somebody is feeling afraid of you, that's violence. And maybe, you know, that person may be feeling afraid because of their sanskar also. But you have to check very deeply, because if you are having violence inside you, then you will make the other person feel afraid, make animals feel afraid, make everyone around you feel afraid. There'll be this vibration of making others feel afraid. So Baba says that in Satyug there is no fear, and in Satyug there is no violence. So let's thank Baba for some time.